Hi, JA kids!
My name is Martessa.
And my name is Kristen.
We are so excited you joined us today. If you tuned in last week, you know we are learning the 12 steps for kids that could keep us from ever having to use alcohol or drugs.
Yes, and today we are going to learn the wonderful news in Step 2. Martessa, can you tell us what that is?
Of course. Step 2 says, I believe Jesus can help me make good choices.
That reminds me of a story.
You mean the story of...
Daniel? You're right. You start telling it.
Daniel was a teenager when he suddenly found himself captured and enrolled in a foreign university where he didn't even know the language. Expectations were high, top grades, and the final exam by the king himself. If you pass, you get a government job. If you fail, probably you'll be a slave for the rest of your life.
Soon after they arrived, one of Daniel's friends, named Azariah, heard some troubling news and ran up to the group. He said,
Daniel, have you heard the news?
What news?
The food they serve us comes straight from the king's table, and it includes wine.
That's not good. There's a big test coming up at the end of school. How will we be able to study for it if this is all we have to eat? And the wine will cloud our minds.
If the food is a gift straight from the king's table, and he learns that we turned it down, he will kill us, and who knows what else.
But we are not allowed to eat that kind of meat or drink wine. Remember what we studied in the book back home?
Yes, you are right. We should pray about it.
So the four friends knelt down right there and asked Jesus to help them make a good choice.
God, should we eat the food and drink the wine offered by the king? Or should we risk the king's anger and stay true to the book?
Daniel and his three friends, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, had all studied the same book when they were kids. They had learned about how what you eat and drink affects your brain. Here's a verse from the book that they had memorized.
Hey, wait a minute. You mean you had the same book they had?
I sure do, and it's still available to anyone who wants to read it, including you, JA kids. It's the book we call the Bible. Here's the verse they had learned. Wine causes you to make fun of others, and beer causes you to start fights. Anyone who is led astray by them is not wise.
That is a great verse to remember. If Daniel and his friends got into fights and were not able to think clearly, they would never be able to pass the king's test. But what happened next?
After they prayed, Daniel said,
I have an idea.
Quickly he described it to his friends. Then they hurried off to find the man in charge of the food. This is what they asked.
We are very thankful that the king has provided us with food, but we know this food will be harmful to our bodies. Is there any way we can get vegetables to eat and water to drink?
The headmaster was thoughtful. He liked Daniel and his three friends, but he was also afraid of the king. He said,
If the king sees you looking weak and thin and finds out that you are not eating his food, he will kill me. Daniel replied,
Test us for 10 days. Give us water to drink and vegetables to eat. At the end of the 10 days, examine us, and then decide.
So the headmaster did that. At the end of the 10 days, guess what?
They were fit and healthy?
You are right.
But wait a minute. Remember the king made up that menu? Do you think he got mad at them for refusing to drink his wine?
Matter of fact, he was delighted in them. At the end of the 3 years, when they were tested by the king, they were 10 times smarter than their teachers.
Wow, Jesus really helped them make a good choice.
You are right, Martessa. Like Step 2 says, I believe that Jesus can help me make good choices. Why don't we say it together? Here we go.
I believe that Jesus can help me make good choices.
Be sure to tune in next week at 8:50 to hear another great story.
And now repeat after me. Be bold.
Be bold.
Be brave.
Be brave.
Be different.
Be different. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Tune in next time.